This is the Milton Keynes Film and Comic-Con podcast with Jackie and Troy.
Welcome to episode 2 of the Milton Keynes Film and Comic-Con podcast. And once again, I'm delighted to be joined by Troy from Central Exhibitions, who are putting on the event. Hello, how are you doing?
No, not bad. Thank you very much for having us, Chris.
And you've joined us from your man cave in your house, which is bedecked. For people that are listening to the podcast and can't see you, you are surrounded by a plethora of pop culture. It looks like DVD cases that you've blue tacked to the wall of your man cave, which is a lot cheaper than wallpaper, so hats off to you for that. And there seems to be a midget stormtrooper just over your right shoulder there.
There he is my friend.
It says Dad underneath, so is he your father?
Oh, very good. This guy, he knows Star Wars.
Yeah, no,
very nice.
No, I think it was the one in
seamless, Chris.
It was the one in the black costume, I think, wasn't it? That was your father, not the stormtrooper. But maybe it was Darth Vader in disguise. And you've brought two friends along to join us today. Introduce our other two guests.
Yeah, we've got Ross and Chris. They've been helping on our events, our Comic Cons for the last few years now, and they're legendary. We've don't know where we'd be without these two guys and their pop culture knowledge as well as their event organisational skills. We love them, absolutely love them. So thank you very much for joining us today, guys.
Yeah, and I've got to say, Chris has kind of trumped you with the man cave. He's got a lot of cool stuff there behind him. Ross is scaring me slightly because he's just got a poster that says The Exorcist behind him. So I'm not going to get on the wrong side of Ross. But did it say exercise? I could only see half. No, it is The Exorcist.
It is The Exorcist 3.
Oh, I didn't know they made two other films. Obviously they did.
In case that wasn't intimidating enough, there is also The Sword as well.
Yes. So hopefully this is going to go well and you're not going to go on a rampage before the end of the podcast. So, yes. So we'll start with Ross. What's your sort of connection to Comic-Con and what's your sort of passion or passions in that realm?
Well, I've been friends with Jackie and Troy for quite a number of years, and when they've moved into the Comic-Con scene, they asked if I would help out emptying the bins, and I was thrilled for the opportunity to step up and facilitate that request. I like to consider myself to be the premier bin emptier within the industry,
and that you are, and that you continue to be, Ross.
Yeah. Thank you.
And that's a big responsibility, and you've got to be trustworthy because there's going to be all sorts of incredible stuff in those bins. People throw things.
I could talk to you for hours, Chris, about what's in those bins. But I'm guessing you're not wanting to. Yeah.
That's episode 3.
Episode 3 is the refuse special edition. Yes. Okay. I think we'll leave that with a shroud of mystery as to whether that is fact or fantasy there about the bins. And other Chris, great name. What's your kind of your passion? Because I know that you've got Stranger Things over there over your shoulder. You've got like loads of it looks like you've been to IKEA. You've got lots of bookshelves.
This is nothing. This is my office. I can show you if I can get this in camera. If that comes.
Okay. Wow.
Stuff, so it's a bit glary. I do apologize. There you go. Maybe bring it down. So yeah,
that's incredible.
That's part of one wall as well, right, Chris? You've got a lot more than that.
I think with these sort of things, this is the whole thing about Comic-Con. If you're the sort of person that you clearly are that just can't get enough stuff, you must go to these events and be like, a thing I don't have. Yeah. Well, maybe you don't. You'll be like, I've got literally everything at this exhibition. I don't want anything else.
It's more things, and there's a thing-shaped hole that I can put it in.
Yeah, there's always going to be something that you don't have. But what are your main kind of passions, Chris?
I like movies, as we said earlier before. Obviously, I do a bit of YouTube and talk about movies and stuff. Anime, which is behind me, I have a full sleeve as well to go with that. And yeah, like Ross, I've been a long time fan and friend of Jackie and Troy. I wanted to do the bins, but obviously Ross beat me to it. So
sorry.
Instead. So it's, You know, if you need someone to put a table up, I'm your man. So.
Fantastic. So, what was the thing that got you into this first of all? What was, because I think everybody has got that moment in their childhood or at some point in their life where they've watched something or they've bought a comic book or something's changed their life, and then it's kind of snowballed from that point. Can you remember that moment?
I suppose for me, probably my favourite set of trilogies is obviously Back to the Future, and I think it was, as a young child, experiencing those, obviously an 80s child, so I was a little bit later to the Star Wars scene, but, you know, Back to the Future is kind of my Star Wars, and it's just being able to relate to, you know, Marty McFly, and, you know, stuff didn't always go right, and how they kind of envisioned the story, and it all just kind of merged together for me. And I think as I've grown older, like, people like movies aren't as appreciated as much, but there's just little things like how scenes are set up and how they're worked with practical effects back in the day, and just music. Even if you just listen to music, how much that influences you and how emotions are poured out of you. And I think it just sparked or ignited a fire within inside me watching those sort of movies, and I haven't looked back really.
So did you see it at the cinema when it originally came out, Back to the Future, or was this?
Unfortunately not. The first movie I ever watched was Aladdin. So
I did.
You saw Back to the Future at the cinema?
I was there. I saw it at the cinema.
The first
back
one?
in the day. The first one, yeah.
Right?
Let's not go into how old I am. But yeah.
Do some quick maths.
Yes, those were heady days back in the 80s of that, The Goonies, Lost Boys, all that sort of thing at the cinema. It's great times.
See, I was just old Betamax videos of these films in terrible quality, and it was many years before I saw what E.T. actually looked like, because on our video copy, I had no clue what it actually was. It was just this blur of just something going on there that was clearly quite spooky. And the same with The Goonies. I think it still looks really like terrible VHS, even when you watch a good quality copy of it. I don't know what they filmed it on, but and the sound on it is terrible. So I think a lot of those old films, some of them stand the test of time and others don't. But when you're doing your podcast and you're kind of featuring movies, are you rewatching films from back in the day with kind of a current perspective as much as the newer ones?
So yeah, it's a little bit. I try to keep a very broad mind. My channel is very positive in regards to movies and stuff. Even though I see bad and good points, I do understand that every person, depending on the day, depending on your attitude, depending on the people you're with, you can have different interpretations of movies. I'll give a plain example. The first time I watched Shaun of the Dead, I hated it. About the third time I watched it, I actually really loved it, and that was just to environment. So it's these things over time that can influence you that I'm more interested in. But on my channel, every week I review a new movie that comes out at the weekend, and then during the week I go over what I've been watching, and then just like today, a ranking of Star Trek movies that I've been watching. So it varies. I just try and keep it kind of current or what I've been watching, and I watch everything really. As you'll see, I have 4,500 DVDs, movies, Blu-rays, so I watch a lot.
Yeah, I mean, how do you decide what you're going to watch in a particular week when you've got shelves like you've got that is literally like an old Blockbuster video store? Where do you start?
So essentially, what I do, anything I buy new, I kind of have shelves downstairs, and I have one for movies and one for series, and I just basically put them on a pile, and then what I do is pull 7 out and then put them under the TV, any random 7, and then I just each night when I have one, I'll watch that. And I find that being in a kind of fluid feeling and fluid mindset and just watching something, you enjoy it more. Whereas obviously if you're like, well, I've got a watch list, and you're like, I'm not really in the mood for it, you can't really enjoy it. And you find a lot more movies that you enjoy that you never really knew about by doing it that way.
Does that mean then, Chris, that you don't use streaming services quite as much as I don't know, the next person? Which in this household, it's all we do. I know I've got the DVDs on the wall, but the go-to with with the streaming services we've got, it's at your fingertips and stuff. So I don't know. Do you find yourself not really?
It is, the quality's not there though. That's the thing.
It's mixed. I mean, for me, there is stuff like I find streaming is far better for series than movies. I do watch some because nowadays not a lot are released. But I kind of think because I've grown up in like the late 80s, 90s, early 2000s. I watched so much stuff of that. Now I'm going back and watching older stuff and that, and, you know, stuff like Rosemary's Child, you know, Schindler's List. I go, what, you know, if I'm like, someone's spoken about it and it's a good film, I'll pick it up and rewatch it, and just to expand my knowledge, because the new stuff isn't that great.
I bet it's a lot easier to get hold of DVDs cheaply now with streaming services, because you can't, it's really hard to sell. You're going to hate me for this. I had like whole boxes of DVDs that I just wanted to get shot off, because I was like, what is the point of this? I can watch them all on streaming. And tried to sell them. Nobody wanted them. Put them up on eBay. They just didn't sell. To be fair, they were pretty rubbish. But I mean, my box set of Dawson's Creek, I thought that would fetch a fortune.
Unbelievable.
I can't believe it.
Dawson's Creek.
Nobody wanted it. So are you finding it's easier to get hold of some of those like classic movies on DVD now?
Some yes, some no, some go out of print. Because I've got so many, I'm more kind of going from DVD to Blu-ray. I don't mind the quality on DVD. I'm very much got a plain setup. I've not got, you know, like an overhead projector and a posh soundbar and that. I've got cheap and basic. But I'm just more enjoying the movie for what it is. And for some movies, I think that as you kind of said, like the Goonies, the old kind of gritty style, I think actually works for some movies, rather than like with 4Ks. I've seen people watch like Alien and Aliens of 4K and go, now you can see the alien lot.
Yeah.
It just doesn't have that kind of scary alien effect. So
yeah, I think that's part of the experience of a film, is watching it in the way that people would have watched it at the time. And I think you're right with Alien. It was what you can't see as much as what you can see, and that kind of fuzzy screen with all the slight, like the snow on the screen that you get from like a poor quality video. That was part of the intrigue of kind almost being able to see it and not quite.
It's very true, because there's a lot of films that whereas they sort of push into high def, it does, even though the picture quality is there, you end up seeing things that you kind of wish you haven't. And one of the worst ones for me, and this is a weird one, was National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, where he has the sled, and he waxes up the sled on it, and he's just about to go off, and in the high def version that you can see the line of explosives that go off down the hill.
Oh,
and
no.
Thinking, oh no, I wish I hadn't seen that. Because before it just looks like, in the slightly dodgier quality, it was just a snow on the hill and it was fine. And you just think, I don't want to see those details. I don't want to see the wires. And as Chris said, you don't want to see those sort of little bits that give it away. It is just kind of some of the picture quality hides and benefits it so much.
Do you know what I've noticed as well? Because I'm a bit of a Doctor Who fan. And when you watch on iPlayer now, the older Doctor Who, so I'm talking like Tom Baker era.
The proper stuff.
Yeah, proper Doctor Who.
Yeah.
It's been remastered in HD, and you can see the difference between the studio shots that were shot on video and the location stuff that was shot on film. And the film stuff has been upscaled in incredible quality, and it looks really sharp. And you think, wow, this is early colour TV from like the early 80s, maybe late 70s, and it's in brilliant quality. And then you can see the difference with the studio stuff. You see when the camera moves, like a trail behind the lights as it moves, because lenses and video technology was terrible in those days. But for some reason, the BBC filmed all the studio stuff on this very primitive videotape that hasn't stood the test of time. And then the stuff that's shot on film, you can literally see the flaws and the stuff and then when they do the special effects shots, you can see the mats in the background and the way that they've done stuff with the models, and it doesn't really spoil it, because you know it's of its time and you don't expect to be completely convinced by the special effects on a 1980s Doctor Who. But I just find it really interesting just to see the difference in quality between the videotape and the film on those.
Actually, the one that I saw recently, which kind of brings us up to date and back again, because in preparation to watch 28 Years Later, which was just out, we went back and my wife and I sat and watched the 28 Days and 28 Weeks Later. And Danny Boyle had shot it on what was like high quality digital at the time, which was great. And I remember seeing it at the time and it was awesome. But you watch it now, and it's not particularly great. and I'm not entirely sure what you can do to sort of improve that picture quality, because if something's shot on film, that quality is there and it's just to be pulled out. And you just sort of think, I'm wondering whether Danny Boyle is kicking himself. That at the time it was a great idea, but sort of looking back on it now, it does look like it's really kind of badly shot.
But was that the look he was going for?
It
that
was.
kind
It
of...
was kind of like it was meant. It was like the high quality HD at the time. So it was pushing the boundaries at the time, which was, great. And I remember seeing it at the cinema and being really impressed. But as technology has shot on like light speed since then, and the quality that you can get on your phone and everything sort of far exceeds that now. And it's a weird one to look at now.
But the original one, that wasn't like Blair Witch, where it was supposed to be filmed by the people that are in it. So it was meant to be like poor quality video. It was just...
No, I think it was like the quality of HD at the time, of digital. Whereas obviously now digital is like amazing. And I think they shot most of the latest film on digital, and it looks completely different to what that was at the time. But that's just because technology is still on.
But I mean, you can film in SD digitally, and it's not going to be very good quality, but it's still digital. Digital isn't necessarily a quality; it's more a format. So, but back then, I don't know, if he was showing it in a cinema, it would have needed to be at least...
At the time, it was that kind of, it was the forefront of pushing that technology of film, and I think it was just before, I can't remember, before or after sort of Star Wars Episode 1, which was all filmed on digital and that as well. So it was kind of pushing the boundaries of what can be done for cinema at the time. But yeah, it's an interesting one.
Very interesting. So at the Comic-Con, what's your favourite bit? What are you looking forward to most? And are there when you go to it, are there particular areas that you gravitate to first of all that you look forward to?
Oh, it's really tough from an organiser's point of view, only because we've got Jackie and I particularly have got an organiser's head on. I mean, we've mentioned in the last episode that we're fans of Comic-Cons. Hence one of the reasons we wanted to put one on all those years ago. But it's all for me. It's always the merch. I've always got to curb my my enthusiasm, I think, for how much Star Wars stuff that I am no longer allowed to buy. I no longer allow myself to buy. It's not a good move. I think I don't want to pull at that thread anymore. But I don't know. For me, I'm always kind of there's so much merch that there is for people to buy. But I'm hoping that our con, particularly, something that does seems to have hit really well, is the cosplay dance-off. That seems to be a very popular segment of our show. So yeah, always looking forward to that, to the dancing Deadpools and the dancing Wookiees and the dancing everything that there is. It seems to be a crowd favourite, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Chris and Ross, do you go in for the cosplay at all?
I've cosplayed once, and that was accidentally in my time. And
did you cosplay as like a bin man? A bin removal guys, like
a busman's holiday. No,
a mild-mannered janitor. Maybe he was Hong Kong Phooey.
Yeah.
There we go.
I went to one event where they had several actors from Father Ted, and it turned out that I had accidentally worn a black shirt that day. And one of the actors in there said they had a spare collar, so I ended up having a photo of me dressed as a priest with the priest, which was amazing. But I think at the events that we're working at, it's the people, because it's one of those things. It's an occasion where literally everyone is there to have a good time and enjoy themselves, and either dress up or meet people or just come and see what's going on. Nobody turns up going, right, I'm in a bad mood now, I'm going to take it out on people. Everyone's there for a good time. So it's great to just be in this wonderful atmosphere of just people that are enjoying themselves and walking, and seeing people sort of dressed up and so on. There's been a few sort of bizarre situations because people do like to dress up. And obviously, so I just remember I don't know their names, so I can't say them. But I walked past the Flash and Wonder Woman who were having an argument with each other.
I was just going to say, but tell that story. Yeah.
They were just having a domestic moment, which was quite nice to be privy to as I walked past them. But
They had a child with them as well, didn't they?
They did. I can't remember.
That's got to be one of the strangest things to see one superhero arguing with the other about who forgot to bring the little one's bottle of drink or something.
Yeah, it's the nappy bag. It just gets left behind.
It does.
Yeah.
Even superheroes have these conversations.
Well, they don't have pockets. That's the problem. So, what, was the kid dressed up, or was it just the parents?
I think the kid was. The kid. When I say the kid was dressed up, I think they dressed the kids up as well. But it was just what I just had this vivid memory of the Flash and
Wonder Woman
having
a domestic,
like having a kind of like a proper English restrained domestic where you know they want to shout at each other.
Passive aggressive argument.
You're in polite society, so you just don't do that. But no, I think the people and everything that come along to this, they're great. Everyone's just there to enjoy themselves.
I think, Troy, you do this every time, and you do so many events with your wife. Now you must have the most idyllic relationship if you can kind of get through the stress of organising an event and still go home and not have fallen out with each other by the end of it.
Yeah, we stay in our lanes. I think that's the yeah. I mean, thankfully we met each other when we were both working at the Open University many years ago, and yeah, I guess we were on the same page with a lot of with our work ethic, I guess. But on this one with the Comic-Con, I think we've just got a really good blend. Like she's a very organisational mind on. She's from background of events, and then I've kind of got my geek hat on when we do the cons. And I don't know. I think we just we complement each other. I think if you've got different skill sets, then use them. And hence the reason that we've, our team has even grown. We couldn't genuinely, and I'm not trying to kind of blow smoke up their bottoms here, but honestly, we really appreciate the work that these guys and the rest of our team does do at the con, because everyone really brings their A game to this thing, and then you can. I hope the feedback we've been getting at the events is that the show seems to be run quite well, because I don't know. I think they can tell maybe that the team actually have a passion for it, and we genuinely enjoy what we're doing. It's a graft, and we're all kind of. I don't think these two will argue with that. It's a tough old day, but at the end of it, I don't know. It's the stories afterwards, and as Ross says, and I really can't echo this enough. The people, the smiles that are on people's faces all day, it's something else. It's really nice.
Yeah, I mean, Chris, what's your favourite bit about the Comic-Cons?
I mean, any Comic-Con, there's always stuff and guests and something to see. So I sometimes enjoy that and have enjoyed that in the past. Obviously, Jackie and Troy go a different direction, which I think works for them. They're very much on the family-centric side of things, which I think is a good thing, because obviously in a digital age, it's always nice where people can go out, spend time together. I do like the interactions, a bit like Ross. I mean, I'm very fortunate on most times I'm at the front. And because of my knowledge,
Chris is the man on the door. He is the face as you walk in. He is the smile. He keeps that smile going for hours.
Wow, it's a big smile.
At the point I would have snapped, he keeps going.
Why do you think you're not on the front desk there, Ross?
Because I would have snapped.
There you go. That's why neither of us are on the front desk.
I mean, it's still got a mess today, because obviously, obviously manga and stuff like this I'm into, and a lot of pop culture I know. It's kind of when a lot of people come through the door, I know references to them, and I talk to the little kids, and it's like, all right, Bruce, how you doing? If it's Batman or if it's an anime, I'm like, I'll make a little reference, and some are a bit shy, like, oh my god, that old man's just said that he likes this anime that I'm into, but then some of them are like, oh, that's cool, that you get who I am and stuff like that, and I quite like those interactions and stuff, and it's just people spend a lot of time and effort dressing up and doing these costumes or something, and it's nice, I think, to be greeted with oh, I realise who you are, and that's cool, and oh, that's great, it starts the day off.
Yeah, and get it right as well, because there's nothing worse than if you come in the most incredible anime costume and someone goes, "Hey, you're right, Spider-Man." No.
When I hit a brick wall with some of them, and I'm coming in and I'm sitting there, I don't know who they are, and I'm like, Chris, who's that one? Who's that?
Oh, that's Troy.
Is that his name? I've just been
I
calling
thought I
him
recognised him.
I thought he's just Comic Con Man. I don't really know his first name.
He's come as Comic Con Man.
Yeah. Brilliant. So you don't do a cosplay yourself then, Chris? You're just in...
No, I like to dress up for Halloween and stuff, and I've done that a few years. But yeah, I think, as Troy said, the graft and that, and helping out, moving stuff and everything, I think you'd get too hot and sweaty in a costume.
Yeah, so and like some of them, it would be very, very sticky. But hopefully the weather's got a bit less hot now, because nobody likes it during the heat wave.
One of our costuming group members, he comes as the Wookiees. He's custom built the mask, so that there's a fan inside. I think he's built quite an internal cooling system, because that's a lot of fur that he's got to wear for a lot of the day. But yeah, he's made a bunch of them, and it helps, I think, with some of the masks as well on other helmets where it steams up as well. It kind of helps with vision. So yeah, it's to all of the costuming groups, all the cosplayers that really put forth the effort to put on this elaborate costume for the sake of cosplaying. Oh, hats off to them, because it's not just the showing what they've produced. It's the sacrifice that they endure on a warm summer's day at Comic-Con that we have to appreciate. Definitely. As well.
It all seems like a good idea at the time, and isn't it fantastic and that sort of thing, and then you suddenly have to wear that costume and all that leather jacket and whatever, and
yeah,
it's a lot. But good on them.
They look awesome. They really do. And when you've got an event full of them, full of these guys that have really got some all different standards of costume, it's awesome to be in a venue with such a wide representation of different characters from different genres. They really are. It's a beautiful community. It really is.
When we've got like the queue of everyone waiting to come in, it's just kind of like, you don't want the queue to get bored, and these guys will step forward and they'll say, we'll go out and we'll entertain them, and we'll walk up and down, and without
being asked to as well. That it's just in their nature to just to entertain. They haven't even got to do a great deal, but the fact that they have got the foresight to even do that without being instructed or anything, it's a wonderful group of people. They really are.
I think it should be a thing though that if you're going to put a costume on, you have to be in character. So you can't dress as a stormtrooper and then not be stormtrooper like. Yeah. Which is why it's so funny when you see them doing the dance off and they're break dancing or doing whatever they're doing in those costumes. It is brilliant. But yeah, I think that's why they just love entertaining other people in the queue and just stuff, because it gives them an opportunity to just be that character and get a reaction. So. Yeah,
they're always asking people if they want photos taken with them, and the answer is always yes. They're just so happy to kind of oblige with that sort of thing, and it's sort of really, really quite heartening.
Yeah, absolutely. So is there anything else that we should talk about? I mean, I'm really interested to know from Chris what the movies are to watch out for this year and what's coming up. But I guess we're going to steal your thunder from your podcast, because we need to watch your YouTube channel to find this out. But what has been the best movie that you've seen in the last few months or this year?
I would probably say the one I've enjoyed the most was Sinners. So if you've seen that, Michael B. Jordan, I thought that was a great combination of, again, goes back to music. Obviously they had the kind of Irish folk music from Jack O'Connor's character into like the Michael B. Jordan and all kind of their type of music. I thought it was a great story, and how it kind of transcends the music, transcends like different realities, and how it was shot and was great. And it's kind of, a lot of people have compared it to what's the vampire movie now?
Dusk Till Dawn.
Dusk Till Dawn.
Dusk Till Dawn. But I kind of feel like, because it was more Jimmy's character, the musician, it's more his story than theirs. I think that's what people kind of aren't picking up on. But it was just such a not what you expect. You know it's vampires. You kind of know something's happening, but it's just such a twist and turn in. That's my favourite so far. And I'm looking forward to Superman, in all fairness, as well.
Yeah. No, I can't wait. I mean, even any movie like that is an event, and you hope it's going to be really good. But it looks good on the trailers, so
I did like a top 10 and for what I wanted to see, and I do it each year, and it wasn't even in my top 10. All we knew at the end of last year was that picture, obviously, with Superman putting on his boots and that, and I think there was a lot of memes, and a lot of people were like, oh yeah, it could be good, it could be bad, but I think that first trailer and the music, and then bringing in crypto, because I'm a big dog lover as well, I think that it won me over, and I'm like, I hope the trailer is doing its justice.
James Gunn is usually a good, safe pair of hands, to turn out. It worked on all the Guardians of the Galaxy films and that as well. Has worked on, some sort of more. When I say adult, I don't mean that sort of adult, but sort of more mature action movies. So he's able to sort of bend between them all. So it's interesting to see, and it's very hard to tell from trailers, because trailers is purely the marketing of the film and the marketing department. So you don't know what the end product's gonna look like in total, but it's giving you something there to think, all right, it might be good, for the speed that we've gone from one Superman to the next recently, that rather than just dismissing it completely, this might actually be pretty good.
I think it'd be interesting to do a YouTube channel where you look at the trailers for terrible movies and just see how good they looked from the trailer, and then the actual film when you came to watch it was awful, but somehow just picking 3 minutes of the best bits of any film, you can make it look good. That's a real art form, making movie trailers.
We're talking about Superman here, which leads into obviously Superman 4.
We talked about this on the last podcast. Milton Keynes' claim to fame,
which is exactly one of Milton Keynes' claims to fame of film locations.
Seamless.
Talk about.
Well, what else do we have? We've got the Cliff Richard Wide for sound video. Did you know about that?
You went straight in at the top there.
I'm sorry. I'm not going to steal your thunder. Sorry.
Now we've also. I mean, there's a lot of sort of decent stuff in there. I mean, one of my favourite ones is the Fourth Protocol, the Michael Caine and Pierce Brosnan film from 1987, which was sort of filmed within the area in Tranlands Brig area of Heelands in Milton Keynes. It's brilliant. And it's I don't know whether the people that actually live in the house now know that that they used it as Pierce Brosnan's house as a Russian KGB agent who was living in there. Now, one of the interesting things...
I think someone might be knocking on the door in a few weeks. Hello, did you know?
You never know, it could be, though, isn't it? Did you know? Like, when you buy this house...
Yes. Anybody tell you that Michael Caine shot someone in your roof? Did that reduce or increase the price? Who knows? But one of the interesting things about the plot line to the Fourth Protocol, which links into The World Is Not Enough, is that the Fourth Protocol, where Pierce Brosnan was a KGB agent who was there to set off a nuclear explosion, either way, to make it look like that it was set off by the airbase next door to make it look like it was caused by someone else. So whereas in The World Is Not Enough, Pierce Brosnan plays a spy who's trying to stop someone who's stolen a bomb, who's trying to set it off to make it look like someone else. So actually, it's this sort of a similar plot line, but told from
the other direction. Yeah.
And then over in Stony Stratford, you've got some scenes that were filmed from Withnell and I, which were meant to be set in the north of England, and they were sort of set. It was in the market square in Stony Stratford. Where they're walking around, they go into the pub, which what's the pub over there? It's the Crown Inn.
The Crown Inn, I think.
Yes, myself and Troy had to pop in there, and obviously we had to buy a drink.
Recreate the bender that they were on.
But yeah, so that's great. So we had that, and then one of the ones which I think we were most excited to get into. And it was literally one of those situations where you're thinking, if you don't ask, you don't know. But we wrote off to to Millbrook Proving Ground, which is just over the way. And Paul Plale, who was one of the track controllers, was kind enough to write back to us and allow us in, because this is a highly secure area. So the whole place, obviously, if you don't know, you probably do know, the whole place is full of different road tracks, different kind of environments to test vehicles on. It's top secret because car companies will come in and they will test all their stuff. No cameras, nothing. You have to leave your eyes at the front door as you go in, and you collect them on the way out again. But Paul let us in there because throughout part of their track was used in the 2006 version of Casino Royale, where as they're driving away after Vesper's been kidnapped in the back of the car, and as they're driving around and they do the flip.
Yeah, he's on the wrong side of the road, isn't he?
Exactly. They do the roll in the car. I mean, it's not the best advert for Aston Martin. I mean, if you see a hedgehog and you swerve slightly, you're rolling your way to the Guinness Book of Records with this. It's not the way to go.
I don't think it would have been quite dramatic enough in the movie if he came to a very calm
gentle stop.
Yeah, a gentle stop, and then let sort of the hedgehog go past.
Yeah. So that was filmed there. And as a fun.
So the stunt as well. They rolled the car on the road there.
On top of that, they actually damaged the road, because you can see on the video that we did, which we posted on Facebook, you can see patches in the road where they had to repatch it, where they did actually damage it. And
wow.
this row of this set of tracks that goes around the place has been used in so many things, and once you've seen it once, you end up seeing it pop up in loads of programs, including there was a Haribo advert with the two policemen who were sat there eating the Haribo. And
how was that?
It's exactly at the top of the hill where the camera shot is down to where you see Bond driving around down there. But yeah, we would never thought we'd get in there, but it was like, you might as well ask. We're doing it for a family Comic-Con. Can we get in there? We just want to show off what Milton Keynes has got.
That's great. So is that the top 4 or top 5?
That is, including the Cliff Richard one. There's a couple that we...
Was that in there?
There is.
We haven't quite done Superman 4 yet, have we, Ross?
No, we haven't done Superman 4. We still need to do that. But of course, you've got around there, you've got Bletchley Park as well, which was used in the Imitation Game. Chichley Hall, which is actually quite a big one, which was used as the main building in Enigma as Bletchley Park as a stand-in, but it was also used in Monty Python's Meaning of Life, where they did the fish sketch that was in there, and as well as the Fourth Protocol again, as another exterior for that as well. So we need to go back and get that one if they're
100%.
kind enough to let us in there. If we say it, on here, if they happen to be listening.
Oh, I think Jackie might know them. They are a wedding venue, so I think she probably knows them very well because they were at the last wedding show. They're very nice.
Just beyond there, we've also got the Cardington Studios, which was the 2 airship hangars, which I'm trying to get in there as well, because there's 2 big Batman connections there. Firstly, for Batman Begins, they built all the set for the slum areas of Gotham within there, but then the 2 airship hangars themselves, which are now studios, can be seen at the beginning of The Dark Knight Rises, in the very opening scene, probably the very opening shot, of where Bane is taken off in the aeroplane at the beginning, and they're in the background.
Oh, wow.
But there's loads of things in that are filmed there. But yeah, we'd love to get in there and show that off. That would be awesome.
We should start doing guided tours of Milton Keynes as like part of the Comic-Con, that people can jump on a camper van or something. Yeah, off we go. And this is Milton Keynes train station. Yeah. Wow. Okay, well, brilliant. I think there's going to be people all over the world watching this. They're going to be flocking to Milton Keynes for the event. And while they're here, go on a little mystery tour of some of these filming locations.
We've just put Milton Keynes on the map, have we?
We have. It's there now. They know where it is.
If Cliff Richard hadn't done it, then we've done it now.
Yeah, he definitely got in there first. But maybe he saw Superman 4 and then thought, I need a bit of this.
I don't think he thought that, Chris.
Cool. Right. Okay. Anything else? What else should we talk about, Troy? Have we got much more to cover?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Coming along, Troy. Have we got any sort of exciting food vans? Any events? We had some exciting outside attractions and that last time as well.
Yeah,
Have we still got the wrestlers.
We have got wrestlers. We've got wrestlers coming this year from Top Rope Academy. So
That's always a big hit with the mums.
I can't imagine why. I can't imagine why. A lot of very angry dads going, "You don't need to be watching them."
Yeah. It's all fake.
It's all
Yeah,
fake.
it's all fake. Yeah, it's all fake.
The mum's saying that bit's not fake.
Yeah.
You don't look at me when I put on my tights. Don't look at me like that. But yes, we do. We've got our favourites of some lightsaber training, some escape room games, and
Lightsaber training. I'm very excited about.
From Saber Guild, Naboo Temple faction. They're a great bunch of guys, and they really look the part. And it's just a visual. You haven't even really got to necessarily take part in it, just to see people learning lightsaber moves and stuff is always great to watch. But
yeah, doing their training sessions and everything is brilliant, just to see, because they've got all the kids there lined up, and everyone is 100% invested in this. They love it. It's great. Yeah,
the choreograph and everything. It's just the final product looks really good. From the attacking stuff to the defending poses and stuff. Just really looks really good. I mean, what grown or young or old doesn't want to sort of throw around a lightsaber for a bit? But yeah, that always goes down really well. But yeah, I'm hoping that it's going to be another good turnout, another immersive,
and of course, I think
immersive day.
Everyone wants to know, because obviously it was a big hit last time. Will you be dressing as a princess again?
You know what? I think we might have to dig something out. I don't know if I can squeeze into it, mate. I don't know. I think I might have to go shopping. I think
you've got a couple of weeks to run it off yet.
I have.
You could be Shrek's wife this year.
Yeah. I think I'm still carrying some holiday weight from about 3 years ago. So we'll see. What it might have to be Princess Fiona this time round.
Yeah. Just style it out. That's right. Yeah. I've had to work hard to get to this shape for this role. Good stuff. Okay. And the thing that really fascinates me is how broad the different genres, and literally, like you're going from TV, sci-fi through to vampires and werewolves and sci-fi and fantasy and anime. It's literally encompasses everything, and it's kind of like, even where you think the edges are, it just keeps expanding and getting bigger. And that's the amazing thing with this. It's whatever you're into, really, there's a place for it, and you'll find other people that have got the same interests, and they may well even be wearing the same cosplay as you as you go along, and you just suddenly a kindred spirit. You'll be like, oh my God, somebody else likes Dawson's Creek. I thought it was just me. This hasn't happened yet.
It's just you, Chris. Just you.
It's just me.
But you never know. If you come along, there might be somebody else.
They're out there somewhere.
But you're right, though, because we stand, myself and other Chris, will stand there on the door, and it'll be sort of like, well, who's that then? What's that? And if he's like, I don't know, is that it? We will have to stop people and go, What are you wearing? And stuff like that. And sometimes it'll be one guy had something with a symbol on it, and I'm looking at it going, I know that, I know it. I don't know what it was, and it turned out to be it was from Babylon 5, and it was like, oh my God, I couldn't. It just I've got it now. But it was literally
those really niche ones, isn't it? That really turn your head. I mean, it's awesome seeing all of the kind of real popular characters, and I think that's what really a lot of people gravitate towards. But every now and again, you kind of, and the side, in your peripheral, what's he from now? And it kind of gets you talking. And then when
there'll
you
be
think
somebody dressed up from V.
Yeah, exactly right. But yeah, then every now and again you come across something that's that nuanced variation of whatever it is, and it kind of takes your mind back. A lot of times it's a nostalgia thing, right? It's like, you took a memory from the far reaches of your mind and tried to dig that memory out and think, oh, I must watch another episode of that, and then you realise why you stopped watching it because it didn't age well.
As I said earlier, everyone is there because they're happy and they want to be there. And anyone that comes in cosplay and is wearing something is they're wearing it because it made them happy, and they're then sharing that happiness with other people, and which then doubles down when, you know, somebody else goes, oh, that's that thing from that weird niche thing from like, you know, 30, 40 years ago. And you just
it's
see
like affirmation, some kind of affirmation, like there's someone else.
Yeah, it's great fun.
It's a sign of the times, isn't it? I mean, obviously growing up in the 80s and 90s, and obviously talk about Babylon 5, you had like Trekkies and stuff, and that's what we had. You know, we never thought in the 90s that now, like, you know, anime is so popular. You know, the Marvel universe would be what, like 15 years old, and have like what, 36 films, 37 films. Like Big Bang Theory. Like, geeks aren't geeks now. Geeks is kind of a thing, and it's like, you know.
Well, it's much more acceptable, isn't it, these days? I think there was for a very long time, there's a stigma attached to kind of having a real passion and interest in such topics, kind of thing, to the point where it wasn't, you know, probably looked on favourably amongst the more popular kids at school in this example. But these days it's I don't know, you can almost be semi accused of being uncool for not knowing this, that and the other to do with
do you think that spoils it a bit? Because part of the fun is not to be cool, liking this stuff. I'm not sure I'm cool now. Yeah,
it's just so accessible these days. I'm glad that there's so many platforms and so many I don't know, adaptations of things that a lot of people liked as they was kids, that there's so much for them to watch now, and it's sort of so accessible for people on the different platforms and whatnot.
And I think also it's sharing it with different generations, so getting your kids interested in their version of the stuff that we might have liked growing up. And I think this is why Disney have done well with kind of rebooting all of these genres that they know the parents are going to get the kids into, and then children are watching cartoon versions of Star Wars and Spidey and all this stuff, and is kind of preparing the market for the next generation of consumers. If you're being cynical,
when you're talking about Disney like that, it's what with all the live action stuff. It's really interesting because my 7-year-old daughter, who Lilo and Stitch, I guess is most topical at the moment, but she watched it not that long ago. The animated version. It was obviously out way before she was born, but she's also seen the live action version. So it's really kind of quite interesting to see someone that knows both as well as each other, whereas there'll be a lot of people that know Lilo and Stitch or some of the other classic. I know, Chris, you and Mel, you and your wife are kind of Disney experts and have got an affinity for Disney movies. But yeah, it's quite interesting that there is a generation of kids that know both very well, the live action and the classics, and then there's obviously, I don't know, our generation that's very much that wasn't like the original. I liked the original Aladdin better than I did the Will Smith version, and so on. But yeah, it's this kind of I don't know, Disney, what with their reboots of so many live action movies, versions of their animated movies. It's an interesting time.
It's fascinating, and I'm particularly fascinated to discover that Chris is in a relationship. So how does that work when you? How did you've laid out your 7 DVDs for the week, and you're sat there all night watching these videos, and your wife must be so patient, or is she on board with this project as well?
I think, use her word, she accepts it. I think she's not as big of a movie fan as I am in stuff. We watch more Netflix series and stuff together, and then we watch films on the weekends, and then she goes to bed early and I stay up and watch films. So that's just how it is, yeah. We've actually been together 10 years and married almost 6, so who
cool.
Thought, eh?
No, you've held it down. Well done. That's amazing. Cool. Okay.
She's done well, mate. She's done well. You're a
keeper.
Yeah. You're a keeper.
She's done well there.
Not in tonight, so it's all right.
It's just a shame she cries herself to sleep. But other than that,
thanks.
It's great.
No more anime. No more anime.
Come on, only one more episode. There's only another 500 to go.
Yeah.
It's all right. This one's dubbed. You don't have to read the subtitles on this one.
Oh no, it's a reading one. Chris, turn off the reading one.
If it's a reading one, I need the bottle.
Yeah, that's right. Let me just top this up.
Right, so on that positive note, we will see you guys at the Comic-Con. At least now people are going to be able to put a name to a face when they come. They'll know who that is on the door.
Oh, that was never explained. Hold on. What? No, hold on.
As you're emptying the bins, they'll come up and maybe give you a small tip and say thank you. So there we go. But yeah, we will see you all in a couple of weeks for the Comic-Con. Remind us where and when and how you can get your tickets, Troy?
It's on Saturday, the 12th of July. Not this coming weekend. It's the weekend after. It's at the Ridgeway Centre in Wolverton, Milton Keynes. There are tickets still available. Better to get them online via our Facebook page or on Eventbrite to avoid disappointment and too much queuing in this heat. But please do come along. It will be a fun day. Hopefully we'll be full of lots of immersive activities, cosplayers, fun all round.
Come and be immersed. Thank you very much, guys, for joining us on the podcast, and we will see you in a couple of weeks. Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Wow.